So guys, welcome to another Instagram live session. He's now clearly audible. So welcome to another Instagram session with Vitae Sports. And today we've got a legend with us, Steve Kirby. And let me tell you who he is first. Steve Kirby is the current assistant coach and bowling coach of Derbyshire County, and he has taken over 797 wickets in his 12-year illustrious career. That's an amazing feat. Hi, Finn Hudson. Thank you for joining. So, hope everyone is safe and healthy. We've got a few of his teammates joining. So you have to be very careful with the way you answer if I ask you a question about them.
I've got a feeling I could get a bit of stick here, Raman, to be honest.
Yeah.
We'll see how we go.
Yes. So before we start, just a quick Vitae Sports news. James Taylor, one of our clients, has been named in the squad, and hopefully he'll make his Surrey debut tomorrow. And we have a lot to look forward to. County cricket is starting tomorrow, and I want to ask you, Steve, how have you been? How have you been during this time? How are you keeping? Staying at home?
Well, it's just amazing. We're getting some cricket on tomorrow, to be honest.
Yeah.
And all the lads are well and truly ready. And when you get obviously it's been really, really strange times for everybody. But when you've got 15 weeks
yeah,
at home. I don't know who was homeschooling who, to be honest with you, at one point. Kids or me. I mean, some of the lesson plans that they were getting there. I mean, they were left up to me for their education. I think they could be struggling a little bit, to be fair. So it's been brilliant to get an opportunity to get back out there, and we've got all the pretty quick as well, to be fair. It's not probably been the best preparation that we would have liked, but the lads have mucked in. We've been brilliant up at Repton School, and I think we could give Notts a real good run for the money tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got a question from Finn. He's asking, "Hi Steve, who was your favourite MCC YC's player?"
Well, it weren't you, Finn. I can tell you that. You gave. No, I don't. I loved my time down there at the MCC. It was amazing, great grounding actually. And we really did well to get the programme up and running. And Finn's been a good for that, to be fair. I hope he has a great year this year. He might have to sort his haircut out, though. Many wickets in that haircut, to be fair. No, but if he carries on going at the same sort of rate that he went at last year, he's going to do very, very well. But there's a few lads doing quite well out of the programme, to be fair. I mean, we came up against Lancashire the other day. And it was great to see Liam Hurt bowling well. So there's been a few lads that have come off that programme. Gareth Hart up at Durham, Benny Curran up at over at Northants. So I wish them all the best this year as well. It's going to be a shortened season, but I'm sure they'll do that.
I think before we get to, we actually start with a rapid fire questionnaire. So I just want to put you on the spot now. So I want to quickly ask you some quick questions. Fun questions. Your favourite cricket ground?
Oh, got Lords, without a shadow of a doubt. Here in the UK, definitely Lords. Get a chance to. I actually really enjoyed Pukekohe Park, which is in New Zealand, in Tarrant. One of the most picturesque and actually the fastest pitch I've ever bowled on, to be fair. It was a bit like a postage stamp, so you had to get. And I really, really enjoyed the Chinnaswamy Stadium over in India.
Chinnaswamy, yes.
You just felt like the crowd was on the top of you. So, and I don't know, the MCG was pretty good, but there were two man and his dog there when we played. So, we 90,000 in. Yeah,
the thing with the MCG is it's such a big ground. You need a good crowd. Otherwise, it does feel away with. Favorite Test bowler of all time?
Say that again. Sorry.
Favorite Test bowler of all time?
Cool. I had quite a few heroes, to be honest, Simon. I mean, it was great. I got a great opportunity when I was about 11 years old at Hayward Cricket Club, who I owe a lot to. Watch Curtley Ambrose.
Curtley Ambrose.
Ball there was just epic. So, him being an opportunity to get to see him from a young age, he's pretty much my hero. I thought Malcolm Marshall was pretty handy. And especially after coming through a pretty big back injury myself, Jack Birkinshaw helped me change from being a real side-on, closed-off bowler to a very open-chested, and I had to really sort of, I wouldn't say emulate Malcolm Marshall because it was a tad better than me, but it was great.
You could look up to a bowler like him.
Yeah, from an open action and being able to still swing the ball.
Yeah.
So he he was pretty good. I didn't pretty much like facing Shoaib Akhtar, I've got to say. I thought he was pretty nasty. But there's been some great bowlers, and I think you mustn't go too far away from where we are now in England with two what are likely to be the greats of the game, aren't they? Well, I hope they get a chance to carry on playing for a lot longer together.
Toughest batsman you have bowled to? One international and one domestic.
Gosh. Chris Gayle was a bit naughty. And nicked a little bit bowling at him. We played Royal Challengers Bangalore over in India, and I bowled anywhere near sort of stump height. He was just going to smack it, so you had to bowl everything to chest high. So he was pretty interesting, and then obviously coming up against Kohli, I thought he was pretty handy. And then in England, you mustn't go too far away from Ramprakash, really, or Trescothick.
Mark Ramprakash, yes.
I'm absolutely shocked having bowled at Ramps a few times just to see, the fact that he didn't do better in international cricket, because he was particularly good. But we'd always used to have some battles with Trez. And obviously he had his anxiety issues and what have you, and all credit to him for being able to break the stigma and attach to that. But I hope he would have been had the opportunity to play a lot more international cricket, because if he had done, we were the poorer for the fact that he wasn't playing.
Yeah, we've got a question. We'll take a question from India, from Delhi. It says, "And which season was your best season, and when did you actually think that you could actually get picked for England? After which season?"
What a tough question. Well, look, I always my burning ambition and dream to play for England. I wanted to, hence the reason why I moved away from Gloucestershire to them at the time was the enemy to Somerset, because I never had any sort of regrets at
opportunity.
And I actually turned down a benefit year at Gloucestershire to go and do that. But the year that I probably had the best year was when I took about 60 odd wickets. Championship. I really thought I'd got a chance there. Came out to India, played for the Lions. I was probably about 20 at the time. What year that'd be? Quite a while ago now, to be fair. But yeah, I really thought I had a good season that year. But you know what? Breaking into an England side that had the fast bowlers that they had at the time, with Matthew Hoggard, with Simon Jones, Flintoff Armisen, quite a tough challenge.
Difficult, yeah.
From 2004 onwards, I would have said. But I never gave in. And I've never had any regret.
We've got James Taylor joining us. I was just mentioning about him. James, hi, thanks for joining. And we wish you best of luck for tomorrow, and hope you do really well. And the next question is, one thing you've learned from an international player playing alongside him. Is there any tip, or is there anything you remember, an advice you got from an international teammate?
Gosh, that's a tough question, really. I
told you before that I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, look, I think getting a chance to play with Darren Lehman over at Yorkshire was a real privilege, both on and off the cricket field. Bloke, just an amazing man. And one of the things that's always lived with me throughout my cricket career as well, now moving into coaching, he always had this ability to make you feel $1 million whenever you took the ball. He always made you feel really, really good. Actually shaped a lot of my coaching philosophy is, you won't remember a lot of what we say or even what we do, but you'll always hopefully remember how it made you feel. And I believe that that's what coaching's all about. You've got to make sure that you get the best out of your players. And Darren Lehman taught me that. He was exceptional. I suppose as getting a chance, I don't know, you try and learn from all the pros that are out there in Canada. And, you watch who have been really, really successful, and the professionalism side of things from John Lewis in particular.
Yeah.
Very professional, never left no stone unturned, and I always wanted to compete against him when I was at Gloucester. So, taught me I basically had to get in a lot more. I had to get on the ice baths. I had to do all the recovery stuff because you just can't have a career unless you do that. But you just can't from it.
We're getting a lot of questions, so we'll take those. We've got a question from London, Shashi. She says, would you like to coach any of the IPL team, and which one would that be?
Glooming, I'd love to coach any of the IPL, to be honest with you. No, look, I'd love to. I think this one. I mean, take the IPL. That's just a whole new animal in it, in itself. But I like to hope that the 100 ball tournament kicks off well here in the country. And I don't want to be controversial here, but I think they should be giving a lot more English coaches the chance to be the head coach positions. I understand the reason to go for marquee head coaches to try and raise the profile. But there's a lot of fantastic English coaches here who should be getting the opportunity in this to be coaching. Yeah. So I hope we get that chance too. But if, Royal Challengers Bangalore, I'd love to
Bangalore.
Coach them if I could get
That's not an easy wicket to be a bowling coach at.
Oh,
Bengaluru, the wicket it's a batting paradise. So they've changed quite a few coaches over the years, bowling coaches, and it's a very difficult wicket to bowl at. Actually, the ball comes onto the bat, like you were saying before.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It is, but sort of your thinking and your execution. So it don't matter what pitch you play. It's all about making sure that you can, deliver your skill when you're put under pressure, and that's what T20 is. That's why any over in a game of cricket can change, can change the game. So, but yeah, as a bowling coach, you're not hiding to nothing really. As a bowler, I think you should take pressure away from yourself and just get stuck in really. But pressure's on the back. We've got another question. Who, according to Steve, are the top 3 bowlers currently in world cricket? Wow. Well, Jimmy's not bad, is he? Jimmy Anderson. He's, be far away from him. I don't know whether you can still see me or whether you can still hear me or not. Yeah, I can hear you, but your video has stopped. How was it? Yeah, just the video stopped. I can hear you. Yeah, 1 second. You're back now. Can you just... Hello? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Can you still hear me? Yeah. So, yes. It's pretty good. Around the world at the moment, there isn't that many fast bowlers out there that you would hang your hats on. I think there's a lot more. I think there's some that are up and coming. I think if you have a look at Norkie from South Africa, I particularly like him. I like his action. I think he's going to have swings the ball. He bowls it at a really good pace. He's got a brilliant. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough, really, being a bowler now in world cricket. You don't get a chance to play as much now, especially with all of these white tournaments coming in now, and to get anybody with any longevity in your international career is a pretty big ask these days. The pull of all the money, but I think Geoffrey Archer is going to be a good bowler. I think he needs to pick the ball up more, and when he does pick the ball up and use his short ball sparingly, I think he's going to be a real nasty handful, to be fair. But we're quite blessed here in this country. I think we've got some great bowlers that are not even getting a chance to come on. So. We've got Matthew is saying he had the privilege to work with you as your assistant coach at the MCC Young Cricketers, Superman and great coach that not only gave the players the confidence to pursue careers in the game. So some kind words coming for you. Well, that I appreciate that, Greenie. Thank you for them. They're probably the only kind words I'm going to get here tonight, to be fair, because I'm probably going to get a lot of banter off of you. But no, I really am at the MCC, and I loved working with Greenie as well. It was great to see some of the lads. We were trying to get careers outside of the game, so I hope I'm carries on.
One regret you had as a cricketer?
Not playing for England.
Yeah.
You know, I tried my best. I worked my socks off every day, be that international cricketer, but it wasn't to be. So yeah, of course I say I had no regrets in the sense of I gave it everything, but obviously I would have loved to have put the full 3 lines on my chest. I didn't want to give in when I gave in, really. I had no choice because of my shoulder. So I actually, when I finished playing, I actually couldn't watch a game of cricket for 12 months, to be fair. Every time a cricket match came on the television, off because it hurt that much. But then actually getting an opportunity to get out into the big bad world and do some sales and recruitment and what have you gave me a good sort of opportunity to go back to the game and find that real love for coaching, which I now enjoy. It's a bit different, obviously. As a coach, you can only lead them to the base camp of Everest, I suppose, can't you? You can't climb the mountain for them; they've got to do it themselves. So, yeah, but now obviously you're out of control. You've only done all your work to get them out in the pitch. Just hope that they do well. But it's a different challenge, but I love it.
How was the transition from being a player to being a coach?
Well, I've always wanted to be. I just want to be totally honest. And that's why I'm in coaching. That's what you're doing all the time. But yeah, so you're in control when you've got the ball in.
Steve, we can't hear you properly, Steve. Your video is paused again. Yes. So we've got a question from Josh, and he says, "Do you still abuse batters as a coach?"
Only when I get my bowling boots on, Cobby, and if certainly be abused. Like I used to. No, I sometimes get the bowling boots out and have a bit of a crack at them. But I haven't got the pace anymore, mate. So you can't really abuse batters and get around everywhere, can you? Like you do and have done many times to me. I can't swear on here, can I? But no, I do look at. I do like having a little nibble at them every now and then. Yeah, why not? You can't take that fiery character away.
So coming to my last question, which I asked you regarding the transition from being a player to being a coach, do you think that, being a player, you had advantage going into coaching?
I think you have the opportunity to experience good and bad coaching, don't you?
Yeah.
And I certainly did that. I've seen a few amazing coaches, some great man managers. On the same opposite side of the scale, I've seen some bad ones, and I've tried to learn from that. Tried to learn from some poor experience that I experienced as a player, and I vow forever, treat players in that way. Communication, making them feel good, are everything really, and poor communication and making players not feel good, I believe it. Very coaching, no matter what. Now, that's not to say you can't challenge them as a coach, and you must. But I think you need trust. You need to build that trust up with your players, and I think it takes time. And it takes a long time to build trust, but it takes time to lose it. So I just want to make sure that, So having seen as a player some poor coaching, I just love now seeing someone put the hard work in, whoever they are, and you put the hard work in with them, and then they go out and perform. I get a massive buzz out of that, huge buzz, and it's wonderful to watch people do that. And actually, if you watch our Derbyshire side now, we've got some very, very hungry, fantastic human beings. They'll do really, really well. Whether that be for Derby or if they come to other clubs, hopefully they don't. But they'll, if they work hard and they've got a genuine desire and love for the game, I'd help them.
We've got a question from Darren Long. Darren is the founder of Vitae Sports, and Darren is asking, Craig Armstrong said you ruined his Gillingham football career. Is that true?
Well, for a few beers here and there, I don't know. Not sure, Daz. I'm not quite sure why I ruined that. I never bowled at him, did I? I don't know. I actually was speaking to him the other day. Actually, he's done really well. I think he's working over with Arsenal now. I think it is throughout their youth sides, through their talent development. And I wish him all the best. He's doing a great job. Not bad for a ginger, the wonky nose. Bit like myself.
Coming to Matthew Hoggard, which you mentioned about before,
Yeah.
there was this incident where out of the blue you had a call to replace Matthew Hoggard, and then you took 7 for 50 against Kent, and by the end of the season you had become a key player in the team, and Yorkshire won for the first time in 33 years. How did that feel as a local, as a Lancastrian first? How did that feel? And just talk me through that spell.
Gosh, it was an accumulation of a sort of crescendo of being out of the game for 2 or 3 years and not getting that. Yeah. I never thought I'd ever get that second opportunity, if I'm honest. And I actually want to just pay a special thank you to everybody at Kibworth for helping me through that, that really tough transition of being released from Leicestershire with a back injury, and then being in the outskirts, if you like, or out in the ether. And I was selling floors, for God's sake, for a company called West Coast Floor. Was just the best bloke in the world for giving me the time off that I needed, as well as working there. Then the story goes that I was actually waiting for an order at West Coast, and Steve Oldham rang up and said, "Here, lad," he said, "I want you to play tomorrow for us again." And I'm like, "No, I'm sorry, I can't." I said, "I've got no holiday left." He said, "What, you got no holiday?" Joking, aren't you? I said, "No, honestly, I've got no holiday." He said, "Well, that's it then." He said, "If you don't want to play in the first team for us, I'll have to ask somebody else." And I literally almost dropped the phone, honestly. I said, whoa, Wesso. I said, "I'll just give me a minute." And I went and rushed downstairs and spoke to my boss, Carl. And before I could say anything, Carl said, "No, you're not playing another game. You're either got to play, you're either going to, get this career in flooring, or you're going to have to give your career up. You can't do both now. I'm not giving you time off." And I said to him, "Don't be daft. It's the first team. They're playing against Kent." And he went quiet for a minute. And credit to the bloke, I'm going to drive you up the motorway. And he took me up to Yorkshire, up to Reading. And I engaged that time. Going again. Quite a weird, strange scenario, to be honest. They'd already started to get I know they do give international sort of replacements now when people do get called up, but it wasn't a regular thing. I don't even think it happened before. So it was one of the first times. So Woggy got called up. I get a chance to go to the Weekwood Hall Hotel in Headingley, and I never slept a wink. I was so nervous. Wayne Clark, who I was telling you about earlier on, about being some good coaches, probably one of the best I'd ever experienced as a man manager. Picked me up about 7:30 in the morning. I went over. I was so wide-eyed. Bearing in mind, I was watching all of these, heroes of mine. Your Silverwood, your Sidebottom, your Vaughns, your Darren Lehman.
Yeah.
All these have been on the telly the previous week, and all of a sudden I'm now in the dressing room with them. And if I could have called, and as I walked in the dressing room in the kit bags, I would have done. And I sat down sheepishly in the corner of the dungeon dressing room at Headingley, and every single player gave a shit by the hand. Said, "Look, a lot about you." Well, and it made me feel so welcome. I had a great year that year. A great set of lads and a fantastic opportunity to play in that side, and to play in a team where you've got some serious fast bowlers. Darren Goff, Craig, mentioned Sidebottom, Silverwood. There's some serious bowlers there, and to get a chance myself was wonderful, really.
This whole story, it's like a fairy tale story, inspiring story. And I'm telling you, if you were a cricketer in India, they would have made a film on you.
I don't know about that.
So we've got another.
I'll tell you that, 'cause it wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been. There'd been too much copyright. No, but Oh, look, listen, it was a wonderful year. It really was a wonderful year to play in that chapter. You know, they'd not won a championship in Yorkshire for 33 years.
Yeah.
I saw grown men crying at Scarborough. Won it. I didn't realise, I didn't understand the impact of how much it had.
The impact, yeah.
And especially being a Lancastrian, you know, I was almost shocked with it. But yeah, no, it was a fantastic year, that. And actually the year after, we won the C&G final and got relegated. So Wayne Clark had not only won a championship for 33 years, he then won a one-day trophy in the stack team.
I'm telling you, it's a fairy tale story. It could have been a good film script. We've got a question from Simpkins8337, and the question is: I remember the wonky nose incident. If you could please enlighten the listeners.
The what? Is that Simo?
That is Simo. He's saying wonky nose incident.
Wonky northern incident.
Wonky nose incident. Nose.
I've got no idea. You know what? I better not be mentioning that. That's Simo. Thanks, mate. No, I don't think we can go into that story, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know about that, to be fair. There are some other good stories, though. Ask me another one. Don't let Simo ask any more questions. That's probably...
Okay. Thomas Phil is asking, tell us about the Shoaib Akhtar incident, which you briefly mentioned before.
Oh, God. Well, he's obviously could bowl quite fast, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Very fast. And we faced him, Yorkshire against Durham, over at Cheshire Street. And the worst thing was when you're watching somebody that fast, from side on, because you're not behind the arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he keeps body up. And I'm going in 11, right? And he's Darren Goff up. He's cleaned about 2 or 3 of them up, and I'm going in last. And in the dressing room, they've been throwing cricket balls at me to evade and duck and what have you, because I was trying to get myself ready, and I got clanged on the head from the physio 3 times while I was throwing cricket balls in the dressing room, which set me in great stead for going out facing Shoaib. And I remember going out there. Darren Goff was walking past me to do the last cricket, and he said, "Good luck, mate." I have a clue. I didn't even see that. So I'm literally shaking to get to the crease. And I got Nicky Peng under the lid. I don't know if you ever remember Nicky Peng. He's a handy batter. And I played on a couple of tours with him. And he said, "Here, Shoaib," he said, "you're not going to believe what he's calling you up here." He said, "He's calling you," he said, "Rawalpindi Express." He said, "He's calling you the Rawalpindi Tuk-Tuk, mate."
Well,
I am joking. I said, "Pengy, will you just shut up?" And I got 2 chest guards on, and I had this big Renfrew chest guard on, and then this sort of vest thing underneath. And I remember this ball just nipping. Well, I didn't even see it, and it's just hit me straight in the ribs. And I've gone down like a wiry reed, bounced straight back up, and I'm trying to show that this didn't hurt. Absolutely great. I had a bruise on my ribs. And then Pengy shivering away like this. Anyway, he about 2 balls later, he sent me a beamer. And
oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. From around the wicket as well, mind. And Harmison was stood at mid-on, and this thing has missed me by about an inch. And I've just dropped my helmet and gloves. I've just lost the plot in the middle of a first-class match. I was going to go. Remember the umpire trying to pull me back, and Craig White was on 85 not out at the other end, and I'm not joking, right? I'd fended one off into mid-wicket, and honestly, I could have run 2, right? He stayed down the other. Wanted to face Steve bowling that fast, and he was at the other end. And he bowled me a bouncer, and I remember the ball just whistling past my nose, and I had time to hit the floor, get back up, and the ball was still going back to the keeper, and it went over Colonel Mustard's hand and bounced just before the side screen, and Ricky played off the side screen and came back to him. and he just picked the ball up and threw it back. Honestly, it was one of the fastest spells I've ever seen. And the only way I can describe it was like being in the Matrix. You know, when the world was slow. I was so scared, I just didn't want to get killed. So yeah, that was a pretty hair-raising experience. And to be honest, I used to go through more helmets than bats. So, you know, the fact that I actually survived for as long as I did was more of a miracle, really.
We've got a couple of questions here. What are your favourite Yorkshire memories apart from winning the championship?
Oh gosh.
And this is from Cricket Mad Alice.
Oh, thanks, Alice. Well, look, when the Jack the Snipper was a bit of a decent. Well, I've got to say, I think he was one of about 4 people actually in the dressing room. We never actually worked out who he was. So that's a great memory of mine. Not particularly my underpants or for my socks, because he used to get snipped quite a lot. But in particular, I remember Dave Byers, captain, one particular time he'd gone to try and pick his sock up at the end of the day's play, and somebody had cut the end of his sock off. And literally, it came straight up to his knee. And he did the same with the other sock, rolled it back down, never mentioned it. Anyway, he went for his silk boxer shorts that his lovely wife had bought him. And he went to put them up. And he, woof, straight up to his armpits they went. And he tried to roll them back down. And again, he never mentioned anything. And then he went to put his shirt on his tie on. And someone put his tie about this big. So Jack the Snipper was a pretty bad bloke with Yorkshire, and we still haven't worked out who that person was. No, they were full of pranks at Yorkshire, but they were just a brilliant dressing room to be part of. There was nobody in the team that had any, there were no egos there. It was all about the team. And a big memory of mine was when Wayne Clark came to talk to us at the end of a game. We'd not played that well, and a few people were out of form, and he sat us all down. And he said, "Look," he said, "I want you to look to your left, and I want you to look to your right." And he said, "Who's?" I remember it were Ryan Sidebottom and Craig White. And he said, "What have you got currently with those 2 lads? Have you got anything there, stories and what have you?" He said, "Because when you're 50 or 60 and you're in a bar, the other side of the world, you'll either have something special that you won't. Now, I'm not bothered what you do over the next 4 games. You can carry on playing. Fear of failure if you want." He said, "But if you want something special, go and play for the next door to you." I thought it was one of the most powerful things I've ever heard. Changed the way you go into it. Everyone thinks about themselves and about their own games, but when you're playing for your teammates, it certainly changed the way I went about playing my cricket from that point on, really. So yeah, some special memories. And some good stories. Some I can't really tell on here.
We've got a question from Rajiv. He says, which is one player whom you would have loved to coach from the past?
God, that is one of the toughest questions you're gonna out there. Anyone? I don't know. I'd like to have been involved in the England side that had players like Nick and players like that just didn't, for some reason, who were wonderful, wonderful county cricketers, and for some reason couldn't transfer that into
Sorry, we had lost you. Yeah.
I would have loved to have been in an England dressing room trying to get the best out of players like that, because I think that what Silvers is doing right now, he's doing great by his players, and if you do get selected now for England, there's no in and out, and you're not quite sure whether you're going to play again or what have you. He's by you and gives you, and that's how I would have probably tried to coach those lads way back then. But they didn't have central contracts then, and they didn't have all those things which we take for granted now.
I want to ask you, you've been with Vitae Sports, you've been with Darren for decades now, and how has that experience been? And You've been with him when you were a player and you're still with the company as a coach. How different has the relationship been?
Well, look, I'm speaking on a Vitae Sports sort of link now. But there aren't many agents I'd ever trust. Agents, they're always in it for something for themselves. And Daz would not mind me mentioning this, but he worked really, really hard to get me out of Gloucestershire. I really wanted to play for England, and out of loyalty and for I signed a deal as well. And whenever you stayed at a camp, your agent doesn't get paid. And do you know something? He never held that because he actually said, "It's the right move. Fine, I'll back you because it's what you want to do." And he helped me. And what I did to favourite point when I moved to Somerset, that was out of the blue. I knew I'd made a poor decision. I wanted to play for England, and brought him back in. And he negotiated a deal for me. And what I'm saying is that there are people who have your best interests at heart, and some agents don't. But Daz is always, I've always, he's never been in it for money. He's always been in it for the player. And
sorry, we've just, your voice is cracking, Steve. Sorry, just that last part. Your voice was cracking. Your video is also not a little clear. Sorry, if you could just.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. Well, basically, I was just saying that he's an agent that I'd recommend to anybody because he's somebody who plays. He's not somebody who goes in it for money. Is what I'm saying, and that's not to be said for all agents. I've got to say.
Yes, I want to ask about, like you were mentioning to me about your India experience. You've been to India quite a few times. Any funny stories you could take out, and how has that experience been playing in different conditions, whether it's India or New Zealand?
Well, I've been really lucky to travel to India 4 or 5 times, and 3 or 4 times I think with the Lions, England Lions, and then once obviously with Somerset when we went out there. And look, there's some good stories. It's just a wonderful place to go and play cricket for multiple different reasons. The conditions, I learned how to try and bowl reverse swing out there, and I think there's no better place to learn that. But I must say there was a bit about Andrew Flintoff. Basically, no, probably I don't know if I can mention that one or not. To be fair. Well, probably I can't, actually, not on Instagram. But there were one time where I was at the MRF Pace Foundation, and I'd been struggling a little bit with Delhi Belly, and I couldn't get back on the plane with the England Lions team. I couldn't get back on; they wouldn't let me back on until I'd been able to be a lot better. And I had to go and see this doctor, and he said, "Steve, what's happening there?" And I said, "Look, I'm really struggling. I'm being sick and went at both ends, basically." And he basically said, "Don't worry, take these." And I can remember trying to swallow these tablets, and I was fine. I got back home, no problem, and I got on the plane.
Sorry, you just continue with the tablet story. So you got a tablet from the doctor.
Yes. So basically, I obviously had some problems, and the Yorkshire doctor basically said to me at the time, "Steve, have you just been to England and have you taken anything?" And I said, "Yes." And I told him the actual names of the tablets, which I couldn't even pronounce. And he said, "For the love of God, please don't take another one." They are antibiotics for horses.
Oh my word!
So this this Indian doctor, me. And I thought there were problems as well. I've had many a difficult thing in there. Yeah, look, it's a wonderful place to go and play cricket, I've got to say. And the opportunity to go out and play in the Champions League was an unbelievable experience. To go out and play teams like Kolkata Knight Riders and
Mumbai Indians,
Challengers Bangalore, and then. Good Lord, I mean, I couldn't understand and I didn't understand how fanatical people were about cricket out in India. It was amazing, and we were made to feel so welcome. Yeah, it was fun. I actually thought the Champions League was a brilliant format. And I'm so shocked and disappointed that it's not going forward, because they were the best teams, domestic teams
in the world.
Yeah. All a really good opportunity.
I just want to, before we finish the session, I just want to request the viewers, if you have any final questions for Steve, please feel. If they are appropriate enough, I can ask them, and if they are appropriate enough, Steve can answer for us. Steve, you've had this is a question coming from a young guy like me who also used to play cricket. You've had an illustrious career being a player. Now you've got into coaching. Is there any set of advice you would want to give young aspiring cricketers, or maybe young coaches who want to get into coaching? What advice would you like to give them?
If you wanted, there's loads of pieces of advice I could give, but one in particular is, I think, a deep desire, deep love for the game. If you just need to love what you're doing. Yeah. So whether you're a player or whether you're a coach, the game can be quite hard at times, and it doesn't always go your way. And being able to bounce back from adversity in the game is a huge trait to have, and you can only do that if you love the game. So carry on loving it, and if you do love it, follow it with all your heart and your dream, because anything's possible. And as a coach, don't coach for yourself, coach for your players. You must coach for your players. And I think too many coaches coach for themselves and for glory, for themselves. I believe if you for those reasons, they're wrong. I think if you're going to coach, make sure you coach for your player, and if you do it well and you care for your players, they'll run through brick walls for you. So yeah, that's the only advice, and it all stems from loving the game, really. Yeah, you've got to love it.
Okay, we'll just take this quickly. Jerif asked, tell us about challenges with Indian conditions while playing the Champions League. Can you hear me, Steve? Hi.
Not getting smacked out the ground. Sorry. One of them is not getting smacked out the ground off Chris Gayle or whatever. It's one of the biggest challenges you've got. I played 4-day cricket and obviously
T20
white ball cricket. Yeah, and I suppose in 4-day cricket you're not going to play in a more unforgiving place because of the heat and they can be very, very, very difficult pitches to go and bowl on. So you need to be able to learn to first swing the ball, and you've got to be accurate. You must be accurate, and you must have some sort of X factor about you, and you can never ever give in when you're in the amazing batters. There really is. And I've not played sort of in the IPL, but I have played, obviously, like I said, that Champions League was quite an experience, because of the hype and the pressure that's put in, and the scrutiny that you've got. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing that we're getting all of our English players to go out and play in it. Yeah. You notice some of our lads now that have gone out and played in it for a few years are really doing well in international cricket because of the pressure on your execution. Yeah. So for me, the biggest thing it taught me was you've got to have complete belief in your skills as a bowler. Yeah. You're going to get whacked. Yeah. That's how many. You're going to get in white ball cricket. But it's about making sure that your thinking's correct, so you're getting hit to your field or the best chance you can get to actually thinking, and can you execute your delivery. So that's practice, practice, practice. And you need to have a ball that can get you in and get you out of an over. Yeah. Whether that be a straight Yorker, wide Yorker, or a good opportunity to, if your house depended on it and your mortgage depended on it, what ball would you bowl that could get you a dot? And if you can do that, you'll be okay. So
you got quite a few dots?
No, I used to have to see the physio for a step off the ground at pace. So I used to get hit for some big sixes. But no, I think it's really good that white ball cricket and T20 cricket in particular has helped bowlers. But there's a completely new dynamic now to a bowler, because you've gosh, in 4-day cricket, you're trying to show a bowler to be really consistent and land it in a sort of, a metre area or a few feet, and be consistent and be attritional and work batsmen out. And then in T20 cricket, you're doing the opposite. If you bowl 3-4 balls in the same spot, the fourth one's going out the ground. So you need to have variations.
Adapting.
And you need to not be predictable. And you need to be able to adapt to conditions. So it's really weird, really. That we as coaches now have got such a big challenge as bowling coaches, because you're trying to, in one format of the game, get consistency, and then in the other format of the game, you're trying to help them teach variations and execution stuff. Some big challenges, but they're good challenges.
That brings us to an end of an amazing chat, Steve. Thank you for giving us some guidance, giving young players some guidance, young coaches some guidance, and sharing those amazing stories, which normally we wouldn't hear from players and coaches. So wishing you best of luck for the season, a lot to look forward to, and
thank you.
Best wishes. Please stay safe, stay positive, and warm regards to your family. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Steve. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Take care, Steve. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
So guys, barring some technical glitches, we had a lovely session, and thank you for joining us. And we will be coming back with yet another Instagram session. So please stay safe, stay positive.